All right. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday and happy week of Thanksgiving and the holiday. As David requested, we ask that you can please put your name and affiliation in the chat. We're very excited to have Suzy here from the ARM Institute. And before that, I'll pass it to our director, Matt Bogosian, for some updates. Matt, the floor is yours.
Great. Thank you, Michelle. And good morning, everyone. Welcome. This is AMCC's Monday National 30-Minute Call, manufacturing community stakeholders from regions across the country. It's good to see some new folks on here, too. It's not just the regional leaders and public and private nonprofit organizations, but also BFFs from all over, including our federal agencies, working to strengthen our regional manufacturing ecosystems. As you know, AMCC is a free open source collaborative partnering with the federal government as the nation's manufacturing community of practice. So on Mondays, these calls, we have two flavors. Basically, we'll do round robin, in our virtual room talking about key issues. And then other Mondays like today, we have a short presentation from either a regional leader or a BFF stakeholder of one flavor or another. Like Michelle said, today we have a presentation from Suzy Teele from our Manufacturing Institute of Innovation focused on robotics, ARM Institute. So that's coming up here in a minute. And if you've been on these calls before we turn to the presentation, I'd like to highlight a few items from our weekly AMCC update newsletter that goes out. And as you can see, if you've been getting it, it's filled with all kinds of useful info. So we encourage you to, use it, share it, copy it, whatever. We need to really work together, add to it also. A lot of you send David and I information that we can put out on the AMCC update. So that's an open invitation to send us, cool events. And as you saw on Saturday when it went out, we tried to get it out on Friday, but sometimes it's Saturday. It went out this last Saturday. We had lots of things in there, and I want to highlight a couple here. One is a huge issue is around sustainable development, and that's climate action. So, the fifth National Climate Assessment was put out. That's like the premier analysis that's done every 4 or 5 years. From 14 U.S. Government agencies. Many of our BFF agencies that are on these calls and have been on these calls for years are a part of that fifth National Climate Assessment. And, on these calls, we talk about, how to strengthen our regional manufacturing ecosystems. And we've got to use the best evidence of what the future may hold so we can, as we talk about, skate to where the puck is going to be as it relates to key components of a thriving ecosystem. And if you dive into this thing, it talks about water and energy, transportation, supply chain. There's a lot there to digest, but I really advise you to do that. One good way that I've found in studying this climate assessment, and there's some good news in there, about renewable energy production and price and all those things that relate to the manufacturing ecosystem. But there's one site, and David can put it in the chat, where it shows all the evidentiary charts that have been put together by all of these 14 agencies and other sources about the best evidence as it applies to supply chain, to industry, to transportation. Many items related to. Oh, and they have a regional breakout too, by the way. And charts as to regions. So like you go to your region, you can find some useful evidence. So anyway, that's a big thing to look at over time and share it with your network. Like if you're, putting together regional planning for economic sustainable development, whatever, that's got to factor in there. That's a good chunk of the best evidence as it relates to environmental sustainability and tackling the climate crisis there. So that's a cool one. Going back to the update highlights from Saturday, you see in there, the Department of Energy is expanding its industrial assessment centers. There's 17 new ones, and our BFFs at DOE will probably be coming on a Monday call sometime early in the year to talk more about that. But, for regional leaders, if you're not already connected to an industrial assessment center, that could be a good stakeholder in coalitions. And then, of course, we have our AMCC podcast, Manufacturing in American Century. And our new podcast episode is up with Phil Singerman, former U.S. Assistant Secretary of Commerce, Economic Development, also a senior advisor for AMCC, longtime leader at NIST. So talking about the exciting, actions happening, in manufacturing and now and going forward. So pretty cool. David also has produced the roadshow report. We do these AMCC roadshows around the country. There's a great report from Pittsburgh, Youngstown, and Cleveland trip, and there's all kinds of best practices embedded in these AMCC roadshow reports that are on our website, on the AMCC update and stuff. So check that out, ask questions, meet people like on this call, meet people too, and get to know them and share those best practices. We have lots of great stories about one region leader engaging with another to strengthen their manufacturing ecosystem. So thanks, David, for producing those AMCC Roadshow reports. We have other, of course, tons of funding opportunities. There's events in our AMCC update. Our new friends at FANUC, they have a December 12th event on robotics and automation. So that's in the AMCC update, which is a nice transition, Suzy, to Suzy Teele, who is our Chief Sustainability Officer from the ARM Institute focused on robotics. So without any further ado, Suzy, welcome, and so glad to be connected with you and hear more about the good hard work that ARM is doing.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks, David. Thanks, Michelle. Go ahead and share my screen, and hopefully this will all work out well. Thanks, everyone. Happy Monday morning. Happy Monday before Thanksgiving. Hopefully you all have great plans to see family and friends and eat lots of turkey, and then we'll all come back again next week, right? So what I wanted to do is just spend a few minutes introducing you to the ARM Institute. I was looking through the folks that are on the chat. Actually, there are several great partners of ours and members of ours on the chat already, like the Wichita State NIAR program, FANUC, various MEPs that we work with across the country. But for those of you who aren't familiar with us, I just wanted to let you know about this resource that's also available to you and your regions. So we are the nation's leading robotics and AI manufacturing innovation institute. Matt introduced us as one of the Manufacturing USA Institutes, and that's in fact what we are. So here's a bit of background on us. We're going into our 7th year next year. We were started in January of 2017 by Carnegie Mellon University based in Pittsburgh. They won the award to start us, and we spun off as a separate nonprofit. We're one of 17 Manufacturing USA Institutes and one of 9 DoD Manufacturing Institutes. So we're funded primarily by the Department of Defense. We are headquartered in Pittsburgh. There's a couple pictures of our Pittsburgh location at a facility called Mill 19. And we opened last year a satellite office in St. Petersburg, Florida, which happens to be where I live. So we're looking at some great things getting up and running in the great state of Florida, which actually has moved up and now is the 10th largest state in the country for manufacturing. So excited about those opportunities. We've got about $120 million of investment from the federal government, primarily for projects and resource development. And I'll tell you in a minute about what that means. We operate as a public-private consortium. We've got over 400 members, about 430, and about 400 of them were in Pittsburgh last week for our annual member meeting, which was a great opportunity for us to engage and build relationships. And we have, on top of being a consortium, we have resources and services that include program management and 2 new capabilities, relatively new, the Robotics Manufacturing Hub and roboticscareer.org, which I'll tell you about in a minute. So again, we're part of the Manufacturing USA Institute. Here's, you can see where they're all located. This is a brand new map, Matt. I just got it last week. So
Sweet.
it's got the 17th Institute on it. So what's our mission? Our mission, very simply, is to make advanced technologies like robotics and AI more accessible to manufacturers and support the transition of that technology to manufacturers, as well as address all the workforce challenges. All the Manufacturing USA Institutes were founded with the same mission, which was to grow US manufacturing. And so our focus is the use of these advanced technologies with robotics and AI. And we do the focus in 3 different areas. The first is this consortium or ecosystem that I talked about. The second is technology development, transition, and usage. And the third is workforce development and impact there. And I'm going to touch briefly on each of those. From a ecosystem standpoint, we do believe that we have the largest ecosystem in the United States that's focused on advancing the use of robotics and AI in manufacturing. We range everything from early stage companies and entrepreneurs who have advanced manufacturing technologies in robotics and AI. So some of the largest DoD OEMs, the large manufacturers of robotics like Fanuc is on the call, is a great member of ours, along with the majority of other major suppliers of robotics to the country. Top research universities, community colleges, and trade schools are very important because they're the people that are creating the robotics technicians with their certificate and 2-year degree programs. Government partners, as you can see, economic development partners working with workforce training, career boards, MEPs, and STEM partners working. We happen to work with the 2 largest providers of robotics competitions in the world. So what we believe we have is a well-rounded ecosystem where anybody who's interested in helping manufacturing grow through robotics and AI and ensuring that we have a skilled workforce to support that is part of the ecosystem. And as a result, we have a great ability to look across the country, look where there's places where things are being successful, look where there's opportunities for improvement in helping our manufacturers nationwide. So where do we focus on the technology side? We've identified these 5 key focus areas, but basically the way that we work is we get funding primarily from the federal government to fund projects that our consortium members work on as a team. So they respond to a project call that we'll put out. It could either be a general call on one of these 5 areas or a very specific call based upon who's doing the funding. They submit a proposal. We select a subset of that proposal, and companies will typically work anywhere from 6 months to 1.5 years, depending upon the size of the proposal that we accepted, to develop or advance technology. We are not basic research. That work is done really well at the universities and through SBIR funding and other places. Our focus is applied research, where we take some of this basic research and determine how we can get it to a prototype stage so that it can be moved more easily into production by industry. So that's our focus. There's always a manufacturer on every project team that we do. So that's the work that we do on technology. And we typically award, it ranges. We typically do 2 to 4, sometimes 5 calls a year, right? And award 5 or 6 organizations at each call. What we just introduced last year, we're just actually this year through a Build Back Better grant, is something we're calling Robotics Manufacturing Hub. What we find is that sometimes smaller manufacturers are a little hesitant to move forward with robotics and AI, and they would want to talk to what we call a Switzerland or a resource to kind of give them advice and thoughts before they might move forward with a purchase or working with a systems integrator. So our focus is really to complement some of the work that the MEPs are doing, but provide at no cost an ability in Southwestern Pennsylvania today for small manufacturers to come in and talk to us about their manufacturing challenges and whether or not they can be solved by robotics and AI. So the Build Back Better grant is paying for this free service. We hope we can continue it. We've gotten some good success stories already. We just announced this a few months ago, and that's a focus area at our headquarters in Pittsburgh. On the workforce area, we know the biggest challenge in manufacturing is finding people to do the job, finding people, period, and then finding people that are skilled. And so we work within our consortium to help solve these challenges. And that really are, as you see listed here, lack of knowledge about manufacturing careers, lower interest in manufacturing careers, and a significant skilled labor shortage for these advanced technologies like robotics. The way that we decided to solve this problem was, oh, okay, let me see what else is here. Oh, I don't know, something happened to this slide. Oh, there it is. Okay, the way we decided to help solve this problem is through a web-based platform, a web national resource that's free to use called roboticscareer.org. And it's really focused in 3 areas. It's an online platform anybody can use, and its mission is to help connect education and job seekers, people who are already interested in manufacturing careers, or people who just want to understand what manufacturing careers are using robotics, connecting them to jobs and to training programs, and helping them understand what their career pathways may look like, the types of jobs that they might be able to get if they pursued working with robotics in manufacturing, how much money they might make, what kind of work they would do on a regular basis. And so this national resource is out there. We have over 17,000 training programs listed on this website for every state in the country, as well as Puerto Rico and some of our other territories. And it ranges everything from certificate programs to PhDs. So there's a wealth of knowledge about the types of programs that are available out there. And we update jobs twice a week, and we usually range around 2,000 jobs that are out there. People are also able to create their own profiles on the site, so they can track jobs, they can keep track of training, they can take a look at what we've looked at. And we just introduced that capability a few months ago to create accounts. We have over 600 accounts already listed on the site of people who are interested in either education or jobs. We also have an endorsement program where we look at what we call the best of the best training programs that are out there. We have a thorough evaluation process that we go through, and then based upon the score, they could be awarded an endorsement. We have 24 endorsed programs right now across the United States, and are adding more every month. So those are the key focus areas for EWD. Luckily for us, the White House and the Biden administration cares a lot about manufacturing this year. And so the ARM Institute has been very active working on several programs that are there, such as the Workforce Hub. Pittsburgh was named one of the workforce hubs. There were 5 that were named recently. And so we're working with our partner called Partner for Work in the city of Pittsburgh on that program. We're also part of the White House Advanced Manufacturing Workforce Sprint. That one's a little earlier, but we're learning about what that is and how we can participate. And we are partners with 11 out of the 23 defense manufacturing community support programs. So those are abilities for us to have further impact across the United States in the whole area of workforce development and training. So here we are. There's my contact information. You can also contact me. You've seen me on Suzy Teele, suzy.teele@arminstitute.org. If you're interested in membership, if you want to learn more about the work that we're doing, please feel free to reach out to us. Thanks.
Great, Suzy. Thanks so much. We have some questions coming in. I see Lisa's got her hand up. You have a question for Suzy? Good morning,
yeah.
Lisa.
Hi there, Suzy. I was in Pittsburgh last week. It's an amazing event and an amazing community you have there. My question is around the latest project call, the Modernization Challenge.
Yes.
Because I have a fund, I have a group of portfolio companies that actually tick all the boxes that we want to assemble into one Megatron application. So is there somebody that we could ask questions to as we're trying to get this cranked out quickly? Because I just got the application information last week. And obviously with the holiday coming up, we're trying to get through this quickly.
Right. Yeah. So I've got to go back and check. I think ARM proposals at arminstitute.org is a place where you can send questions. You do need to be a member to respond to the request, right? So I'd say I will get back to you, Lisa, on the email address, but I'm pretty sure it's ARM Institute. There is a webinar also that I don't know if you participated in the webinar that we had 2 weeks ago. But that
No.
video recording is available also. So I'll get that information and get that to you. If you can put in the chat your email address, I'll make sure that somebody follows up with you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Hey, Suzy, there's a question in the chat about resources you might have regarding cobotics.
So so we do project calls. We don't necessarily have resources. I'm not sure what you're looking for. Is it education oriented? Is it technology oriented?
Alan, do you want to? Alan in Virginia had the question, so if you want to clarify what you were asking.
Yeah, I'm going to stop sharing so I can go look at the questions.
Suzy, the maritime industry is just beginning to make serious investments in cobotic hardware, and then the related software, but only just beginning to do it, and it's only the very largest companies that are able to make it affordable. So, do you envision ARM beginning to offer the same kinds of help collateral that so that small and medium manufacturers could take a look at cobotic equipment as opposed to robots in terms of the investment and the value of the investment, the timeline for it, and so on?
Yes, so probably the best thing to do is to connect with your local MEP if you're interested in equipment itself. Unfortunately, the Robotics Manufacturing Hub is Southwest Pennsylvania companies only. But if we certainly have members that focus in the maritime area. And probably the best thing is maybe we have a conversation offline if you want to follow up with me, and I'll find the right people to connect you within the organization to get the best answer for that.
I'll do that. Thank you. And we are affiliated with our MEP here.
Okay.
Hey, Suzy, so you mentioned in your presentation about how you're partnering with a lot of the defense manufacturing communities. You also mentioned how you're, connected with Build Back Better, initiatives. There's all these, bottom-up initiatives that have come out. We have tech hubs now and lots of others. Is there a typical path for regions around the country that might be designated in one or another of these federal bottom-up initiatives?
Well, we continue to look for opportunities for partnership for any grants that might come out from the EDA or NSF. So if any of you on the call are thinking of responding to those and would like us to be part of that, that would be great. That's what happened with Build Back Better, right? The city of Pittsburgh made a decision to submit a grant opportunity, and they included us in this. So that's one way we can do that. The defense manufacturing communities, typically they reach out to us now that because we're working with so many of them. So when the cycle comes through, typically in the fall for a new set of defense manufacturing communities, I guess in the summer we start, and then maybe even earlier around March or April, right? People start to think about it. We'd be happy to work with you on that. Most of the work that we've done with defense manufacturing communities has been around our ARM endorsement program and working to get the funding to endorse some of their regional robotics training programs that they have. But we have done other types of work as well with the defense manufacturing communities. We've done the most recent one, Central PA. We're doing some robotics education in that area to help the community better understand, teachers and whatnot, sort of what they should be thinking about from a training perspective as they're training middle and high school students. So it does vary, but our participation in the DMCSPs tends to be more workforce oriented.
Gotcha. So like I'm thinking, because I see, newer communities on our call. I see James from down in South Texas on our call. And, so what's the path is like to learn about the resources that you have and then reach out to you to find where there might be a kind of a collaborative fit between ARM's resources and what they're doing in a particular regional initiative?
Sure. Anybody on this call, feel free to access me. Again, my email address, I can put it back in. It's suzy.teele@arminstitute.org, and I can direct you to the right place. If you become a member, then you can be involved with our project calls and, potentially be on a team where you get funded. And the rest of it is really either looking for grant opportunities that we can include our members in, or have companies come to us and say, we'd like you to be part of this grant opportunity. That's probably the bulk of what we're doing right now, is those three areas, Matt.
Yeah, thank you, Suzy. Can you talk a little bit about the model? It's kind of a unique model for the Institute. So for IMCP veterans who are part of AMCC, those two initiatives, the Manufacturing Institutes of Innovation and the IMCP initiative, started around the same time. But the institutes have a unique business model. So you're talking about members. So there's a lot of open source material with the institutes, but then there's also this membership. So can you explain that a little bit?
Certainly. So with the member consortium, again, and we have memberships at all different levels for nonprofit and for-profit. So we have a lot of nonprofit members. The cost for a nonprofit member who wants to participate in a workforce project is zero, but we do have cost share. Everything has cost share, but participating in our events will help cover your cost share, or participating in a webinar. So what we do is that you join as a member. You can participate in project calls if you'd like, but all the output from all the project calls is available to our members for internal use, right? If they want to commercialize it, they actually work with the project team that created it to put a licensing agreement together. But all the content that we create is available to members. A portion of that we make available to the public. We do webinars on a very regular basis to the public that share some of the findings and what we've learned. We speak very often at different conferences across the United States to share the work that we're doing. If you go to our website, arminstitute.org, every project that's ever been funded is listed on that website. So if you're thinking about membership and you want to get a better sense for the type of work that we do, just go to the projects section of our website and you can see the types of projects that we've funded in the past. So the basic model is you become a member. Based on your membership level, you have different rights and priorities to participate in projects. We'll do a project call. Members will respond to that. We'll do it publicly as well too. So organizations that may be interested in joining ARM and being part of that can, join the organization so that they can participate in the project call. We also, on the workforce side, will do solution summits where we do things like review. We put together a whole model, which I didn't have time to get into. Maybe in next year we'll talk about this, on competencies and skills that employers are looking for relative to robotics and AI in manufacturing. So we'll convene a solution summit, go review those, make sure that they still make sense for the industry. So we do a lot of convening both of our members, both on the technology and the workforce side, so that we can share information across our membership as best as possible.
Suzy Teele, thank you so much for coming on, being a BFF of this national community of practice. We very much appreciate your coming on and being partner with so many of these regional leaders across the country. Before we go, we just have a minute left. I want to reiterate, our gratitude to everyone, all of you professionals, working from your neck of the woods to try to make the American project better bottom up. On behalf of David and myself, our leading BFFs, Michelle at the Century Foundation, Michael at the Northeast Midwest Institute, and all of you who share so much with the rest of us. That's the only way we're gonna make this an American century. So thanks so much for being on this road together, and I hope everyone has a wonderful Thanksgiving with friends and family. Thanks a lot.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Thanks, Michelle.
Thank you.